looks like there's going to be a major fight for the future of the Republican Party. President Trump just releasing a statement going after Mitch McConnell. It reads, quote, "The Republican Party can never again be respected or strong with political, quote-unquote, leaders like Senator Mitch McConnell at its helm. McConnell's dedication to business as usual, status quo policies, together with his lack of political insight, wisdom, skill, and personality, has rapidly driven him from majority leader to minority leader. And it will only get worse." All right. Well, Jesse, obviously, Mitch McConnell has a very different version of events here. He voted to acquit the president this weekend, but then issued a blistering attack. So obviously, Mitch McConnell has so much bitterness and blames the president for losing those 2 Senate seats. So now that's why he's minority leader. Who do you side with here, Jesse?
I side with myself, Kennedy, and that's pretty clear. I side with the country second. Listen, Mitch McConnell was very skillful in the way he got President Trump to deliver Republican policies for the country. They were a great team for 4 years, and they got a lot done legislatively, administratively, everything. And I think a lot of the American people should be thankful for that. When it became clear that Donald Trump was not going to win the election, Mitch dumped him. And I guess personally, he was very offended by what went down with regards to how he saw Trump's role in the Capitol riot was. And now there's a ton of bad blood. And with Donald Trump, loyalty is number one. And he feels that he had loyalty through McConnell. He was loyal to Mitch. They did things together, and then Mitch just cast him aside. And he took that very personally. So if you read the statement, and I suggest everybody read this statement, this is an explosive statement. It's long and it's specific. So what I'm worried about is in the next 2 to 3 or 4 years, Trump plays troublemaker with the primaries and the midterms. He plays kingmaker. Guy can raise a ton of money and is no doubt the most powerful force in the Republican Party and on the cutting edge of grassroots Republican politics. I do worry that this battle will cause harm to the party and divide the party and let Democrats come in and take advantage.
Well, it's interesting because I don't know that Mitch McConnell wants to be the party leader. The president, former president, says of him, he's dour, sullen, an unsmiling political hack. So, Greg, as I read this letter, I look at 3 things and I wonder, what is the former president angriest at? Losing re-election, losing those Senate seats in Georgia, or Mitch McConnell's existence?
I would go with the 4th thing, which is he's looking at it and he goes, these would have been great tweets. But I gotta back up what Jesse says. If you end up having 3 parties, it's the odd one out that wins. So if you have the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, and Trump decides to run like it's the Patriot Party, the Dems are going to win every time. Unless the Dems also cleave, but they're probably not going to cleave. So there's ideation within the next before the next election, or you will have the Republican Party will meet a buzzsaw, and they will never be the same.
All right, so Dana, as you look at this and you think about repairing the GOP, how do you get over this bad blood?
Well, it's funny, Jesse, I agree with everything Jesse said, and Greg. If you remember that first year of the Trump administration, through Steve Bannon, I don't think that McConnell felt there was a lot of loyalty there, right? They were trying to run him right out of town. They called him every name in the book. So sullen is not the worst insult he has ever been called by President Trump. But then they repaired that. And they got a lot done. Think about other things that President Trump was able to talk about at all of his rallies, and he went through his list of accomplishments. One of them, of course, being the judicial nominations and confirmations that really did completely change the outlook on that. So here's the thing. If Trump's statement just now had been about President Biden, I don't think you'd see much coverage of it. But there's one thing the press loves to cover, and that is GOP infighting. And there is going to be plenty of it until somebody emerges. It could be that this relationship gets repaired or not. These differences might not be reconcilable, and in that case, there will be a divorce.